Heading to Virginia Beach. See what we got going on tomorrow. Well, hey, so I have not shot a video in quite a long while. I gotten pretty good at it for a while and decided just to stop. Some shit happened in my life and I have kind of, I don't know, I lost my creative juices, I guess, for a while. I'm going to try to get them back. And I'm going to try to get them back while I'm here. I'm in Virginia Beach. I got to catch up on a few things. First of all, it's been probably, I'm going to guess at this point, 6 months or more since I posted anything video-wise on YouTube or even any kind of elaborate videos on any kind of social media platforms at all. So I'm just getting back into it. To catch up to speed, the most important things, I'm getting divorced. It could be a lot worse. I've lost 51 pounds since March 1st, and that was done on a ketogenic diet. I'm going to fill you guys in on that later on as well. A lot of thanks go out to Scott the truck driver for some educational information. I'm going to put a link down below. He actually interviewed me on his channel not too long ago, and I kind of explained what I did to get where I'm at. We're in Virginia Beach right now because my son Christopher has a marching band competition. I did not make this trip last year. I wanted to make sure to make it this year. So I came down with Michael, who is right there. What's going on, Michael?
Nothing really.
Michael's got some transition lenses. So we brought a few things that are worth noting. As you can see, I brought a ton of stuff. But I brought both my boosted boards. I'll be hitting the boosted boards out on the boardwalk very shortly. I'm just going to enjoy being down here. Along the way, I'm going to fill you guys in on some more what happened, what's going on with my health. I do have one other secret that I've shared with very few people so far, so I'm going to kind of post it publicly here and launch this on social media so that people can know what's going on. But pretty major event, something, I don't want to use the word tragic yet, but something big. So I'm going to tell you that story later. In the meantime, I am going to get something to eat because we've been in the car for 9.5 hours, and I'm going to get out and enjoy this air. See you soon. All right, Michael and I are going to go try to take the boosted boards out to the boardwalk.
Hopefully they don't crash.
Hopefully he doesn't crash. It's his first time riding one?
No, not my first time, but
okay.
I haven't really had too much practice.
Well, we're going to need you to take it really slow. He's having a rough time of it. No, he's actually doing really well, I gotta be honest. Yeah, that is the view this morning from my hotel. So it is the second morning here of our trip, first morning actually, second day. We both slept pretty well. I crashed out early and already went out, got a run in, did 3 miles, felt pretty good. Figured out where the other kid's hotel is, so there's that. I'm gonna take a minute real quick and explain what's going on. I had mentioned yesterday that that I got some health concerns. I'll explain it real quick while Michael's sitting here because I've already told him. Here's the story. So I'm going through the divorce, super high stress, constantly on my mind. Anybody that's been through a divorce, they know what that's like. You know, it's always something you're thinking about. And I was having a really hard time sleeping. And one morning, I actually had Michael staying with me at my friend's house where I was crashing during the first couple months of the divorce. And I woke up with a neck ache. Just the whole neck. Hurt all day. I'm like, I just slept in my neck wrong. I was sleeping on a day bed, so it didn't really fit me properly anyway. And I thought nothing really of it, just neck pain. Got a massage a couple days later because the pain was still there. It actually made it worse. So over the next couple weeks, it started to travel down my back. And I figured, oh my God, I know what this is, because I had picked up a bunch of work. So I was like, I'm working too much. I got to figure that out. But meanwhile, I'm training for a marathon. And then I noticed on one of my runs that my heart rate was really high. So now I got that going on. And, you know, so I'm figuring, well, I know, you know, because of my line of work, I know that stress plays a huge part in our bodies. And, you know, different levels of stress. Oh, let's try that again. I'm just going to sit down for a minute. Different levels of stress can cause different issues with the body. So I assume that's exactly what it was. One day, I was sitting watching TV. I had been resting for several minutes. And I looked down at my watch. And I have a smartwatch. Quick plug, I'm not being paid for this. It's a Samsung Galaxy Gear Frontier S3. Love the watch. Had it for a couple years now. So I looked down at my watch and it's showing my heart rate at 110. And I'm like, oh my God, that's from my workout earlier. That's weird. And I look again and it says, no, 5 minutes ago. So, well, that makes no fucking sense. So I measure my heart rate while I'm sitting there and it comes in at 105. Resting heart rate. My normal resting heart rate is 55 to 60. I'm a marathon runner. I'm a cyclist. I'm a kayaker. I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. So now I'm really concerned. Between the pain that's going down into my shoulders, into my back, started having some hip stuff. I'm like, I better go to the doctor. So I went down to an urgent care the next day and had them check me out. They wanted to do an EKG on the heart, and they wanted to test my metabolic levels, you know, for any kind of electrolyte deficiencies, you know, that kind of stuff. I go through the EKG. The doctor comes back into the room a couple minutes later, and he says, I have one thing of concern. I'm showing an inverted T wave. What's an inverted T wave, I ask? Well, in medical terms, in the allopathic world, that is an indicator of a possible coronary artery blockage. Now, coronary artery blockages run in my family. Heart conditions in general run in my family. Hypertension runs in my family. I have an uncle that had a stent put in with a coronary artery blockage. So certainly not something that is uncommon, you know, for my family history. So now I'm kind of worried, needless to say. And they wanted to send me to the hospital. I said, absolutely not. I'm not spending the money on an ambulance ride and a hospital stay right now. I will call a cardiologist, which I did. And I wasn't able to get in for a couple weeks, but I did get in and went through the entire stress test. And stress test came back fine. My heart was in perfect condition. What could it possibly be? My doctor's like, I would assume stress, just like you said. So I said, well, that makes a lot of sense. So I called my primary care. I made an appointment for the next day with my primary care. Went and saw her. She did a full physical. I haven't had one in a few years. I'm, you know, given the world of medicine that I'm in, my little corner of it, I am actually kind of anti-allopathy. And I'm anti-pharmaceutical and yada, yada, yada. We'll get into that another time. That's a discussion for another day. But I decided, or she decided, to do a full metabolic test, full blood test, the whole panels, everything. We went really, really thorough. So I told her what I was doing that week. This was not, was it? It would have been almost 2 weeks ago. So as I record this video, it's Saturday. This would have been 12 days ago that I did the test. And I told her, I'm like, well, later this week, so that coming Friday, a little over a week ago now, I had a 100-mile charity bike ride. That's on Friday. 2 days later, I was doing a full 26.2-mile marathon. Now, I did these, both of them. The ride was fine. The back and neck pain that I've been having for a few months, that's actually quite manageable with naproxen or ibuprofen or a combination of the two. So I got through the ride with that. Some back and neck pain, but it was otherwise bearable. The worst part was the ass chafing, because I hadn't been on my bike seat for that many miles and so long. That Saturday I felt great, legs were good. Sunday ran the full marathon. I didn't run the whole thing. I walked a chunk of it. It was actually my second worst marathon time. My worst being when my ankle was actually injured and I really had to walk most of it. So I finished the marathon. I had a hard time keeping my heart rate down, which was the whole problem. I was constantly up in the 170s. Finished it up, got my medal. Proud of myself considering I did a 100-mile bike ride and the full marathon in the same weekend. I was just a 2-mile run short, or 2-mile swim I should say, short of doing an Ironman in a weekend. Get a call the next day, on Monday, from my doctor. And finally figured out what's wrong. Now, before I tell you, I will say that I brought this up to the doctor at urgent care. I also brought this up to my cardiologist. From not the very start, but from well before I went to urgent care, I thought this was a real possibility. I have a client that has this, and I even said to her, I bet I have it too. You know, and it was just one of those, you know, everybody self-diagnoses, so you don't really believe it. You just, you know, you look at the symptoms and you're like, that's what it is. And sure enough, I found out last Monday that I have Lyme disease. And as soon as I got the confirmation of it, I started doing the math. I went back and looked at my heart rate numbers back in July, and I can pinpoint it to July 12th is the day that I contracted Lyme disease. And it was at Clark's Reservation when I was hiking, and I remember seeing a tick on my leg. I knocked it off. It had not embedded yet, but most likely there was a second one I missed. Never saw a bullseye, but I have Lyme disease. And the problem is I'm at 2.5 months since exposure, and they have me on a 21-day hit of doxycycline, but the problem is you want to hit that within the first week, and I'm at 2.5 months. So it's kind of a crapshoot at this point whether or not I can knock it out or I'm going to be stuck with it. I will say, you know, my doctors can affirm to this, or have affirmed this I should say, I am in excellent health. I am cardiovascularly fit. I have a strong immune system. I have, you know, no underlying health concerns or conditions. Heart's in good condition. Lungs are in good condition. I haven't smoked in many, many, many years. So, and I also don't take antibiotics. I haven't taken antibiotics in probably close to a decade. So, I should react to the doxycycline really well. I'm on a 21-day hit. I've been doing a lot of research and watching and listening and reading, and I'm going to request that I get a second 21-day hit. I have heard that the results are better if you do 2 cycles of it, so I'm going to ask for that. Ultimately, that's going to be up to my doctor, I believe. But I just went for a 3-mile run 6 days out from a marathon, and with Lyme disease, and I'm okay. All right, Tyke and I are going to the ocean. Let's hope we don't drown. Here we go. All right, we are walking to the ocean. I haven't been on, well, what has it been, 1.5 years, I think, since I've been in the ocean? Let's take a look at what we're looking at here. Good little breaks, should be fun. Oh, all right, so I'm at day 3 here, down at Virginia Beach. I don't want too much sun in your eyes, too much glare. Anyway, day 3 here in Virginia Beach, and it has been a very welcome break from everything I have going on in life right now. I did a run this morning, 2.5 miles, and it was already over 80 degrees, so it was a tough run to begin with. I have to say, you know, continuing the doxycycline, I actually have been feeling okay. That has not been so bad. I've been sleeping really well. Heart rate, I've been checking my resting heart rate. It's been in the 60s quite a few times, which is good. It's kind of exactly what you're looking for. So my run this morning, though, definitely kept getting up into the 160s, 170s, which is way too high for me on a run. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good. And So our trip to Virginia Beach is over, and we are in the process of driving back currently right now. We're about 3 hours into our trip. We decided to make a stop along the way and visit the White House. And somebody almost killed me. What do you think, Michael? Your first time seeing the White House?
It's not bad.
Nope. There's a gigantic asshole who lives in that building, but that's okay, because he won't be there much longer. Anyway, I got a chance to get involved with congressional candidate when I was down in Virginia Beach, which was pretty cool, and get some video for them while they were doing a little display with their surfboards. You'll see the video. I probably already have if I haven't showed it already. And we're gonna go finish our ride back now. There's the White House.